What up? It's 929 WDUP, Millennials Home of Timeless Hip Hop and R&B. It's your boy Mike Mitch Ill, and I am honored. I'm a fan of this woman now. I just found about it, but hey, she's here now. Nanette, what up? Thanks for checking in with us.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. So Nanette, we've been playing your records. You know what I'm saying? We were playing "Money Can't Save Me," the Baggage record. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been
Good.
spending you out here. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm glad to actually have you here.
Oh
Give
my
everybody
God.
your background and introduce yourself to the audience out here in Connecticut, man.
I was about to say from Africa to Connecticut, from South Africa to Connecticut. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That is so beautiful. My name is Nanette. To those who may not know me, I am a musician from South Africa. I'm originally from a city called Durban. In South Africa, we like to call Durban the Miami of South Africa because,
What? I gotta get
yeah,
out there.
we got the palm trees everywhere. It's, very much beach, very much proper nightlife. You're gonna have a good time in Durban, very relaxed. The women are beautiful, the vibes are beautiful. It's the Miami of South Africa. But yeah, that's me. I'm from Durban and I am now based in Joburg. I've been doing music for about 5, 6 years now, but I've been singing my whole life. I started singing in church when I was like 7 or 8. My first performance was in church, actually. I went to like, I don't know, you guys call it mega churches. I went to
Yeah.
a mega church. So my first performance was like in front of like 5,000, 6,000 people, and that was my church that I performed for at like 10. I sang a song called Happy Birthday Jesus. That was my first introduction into performance, and I fell in love with the stage since then. And I've just been doing my thing ever since.
Hey, is it kind of like in America, like you start off in the church singing and then you go to the mainstream, like a lot of people around you, were they kind of mad you went to the lane of non-church and everything like that? Like, yo, was there a problem you switching from church to, doing the secular music and everything?
Not really, hey. I'm
Yeah.
To this day though, my mom always says, "My child, you a worshiper. Like me, I want to see you sing in the church. I don't want to see you singing secular music forever." But honestly, there really has been more support than anything. Like my whole entire community supports me so much. Even people from back home
Mhm.
support me a lot. So it's beautiful to say that I haven't received like that much backlash. But I know my mom, and like she's the one who's always drilling it in the back of my head, like, you better take yourself back to church, honey. Go sing for the Lord.
Yeah. So, you mentioned like we from Durban, it's like the Miami of South Africa. Like, talk about some of the misconceptions and, just people getting the whole perception of Africa wrong. Like, talk about your home in depth and, what I mean? What's it really like out there?
My home. Oh my gosh, my home. I actually haven't been home in a while, so this is quite emotional for me. But my home, I would say, is very warm. I think I didn't grow up in like maybe the richest, circumstances. I was raised by my grandmother, who was a single woman, a widow at that, who, took care of me my whole life. She was a nurse, so she worked extreme hours. And we lived in a very small community called Sydenham in Durban. And like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. We lived in the gully. We call it the gully here, like it's the hood.
The
Like we
hood.
lived the gully. Like we lived in the gully with my grandmother. She drove her Honda Jazz, and it was just me and her.
Mhm.
And more than anything, what the crazy thing is, I never realized the type of place that I was living in, or the type of community. I never realized I was living in the hood until I left the hood.
Mhm.
I just thought, oh, this is the best place on earth. This is my home. Like I know everybody here. My friends are here. There's a sense of community. There's a sense of love. I can go to the building next door and play with, my random friend's mother, and she can cook a meal for me. She'll make me her biryani or whatever. Like just that sense of strong community and knowing everybody who lives there. That was so homey to me, in a sense. And everybody looked out for everybody. I remember like since I was young, I was able to walk to church. Like, and my church was like a good, I don't know the US metric, but in kilometers, it was like probably like a good 5 to 10 kilometers. And I would walk to church every Sunday while my granny was at work with my friends. Like just that feeling of community, of dropping everybody at their houses, and everybody looks out for each other and knows when someone is sick and what they need. And that sense of community, that's what I remember growing up. And more than anything, I think if there's one thing that I took from my home, it's really resilience. Coming from the type of background that I come from, a lot of people will try to bring you down and try to convince you that you won't be able to make it out of that type of background. You won't be able to, you know, succeed in life. You'll always be stuck in that pattern, and it's so hard to prove people wrong. So the people who do prove people wrong, I really, really, really am so proud of them, and I'm so proud of myself to say I come from that type of background, but I was able to make the most out of it, like all the people who live there
Yeah,
and succeed. I don't know if you know the South African rapper Blackie, but he's one of like our coolest rappers, and he's from Sydenham as well, and he can probably also share stories of his own. We come from the proper gully, but it what makes us who we are.
yeah. So talk about the music scene out there. Is it much like America? I mean, I hear the influence, and I'm gonna ask you that as well. Like some of the
Yeah.
artists that influence you, but like I feel like South Africa is very in tune with what we do out here, and likewise, what I mean, vice versa.
Yeah. Um, yes, you're not wrong. And I
Mhm.
think it's cool because we can't not say that for so long, American music, and not just American music, let me rather say music that has come out of America, has always been, the worldwide standard. And it's always been something that people from all cultures were able to look at as like the blueprint of sorts, because even growing up this side, once television and entertainment started slowly like integrating into society, this side, we started watching a lot of American media. A lot of the media I consumed when I was growing up was BET. It was, um, American media, and it was diving into American pop culture. So it inherently did influence, how we saw the world. As much as we had our own view of the world and our own understanding of reality and our own lived reality, the pop culture was very much, heavily American influenced. But I do think that also speaks to just how beautiful really good art and really good pop culture in general just is. It like can spread and it can travel to worlds that no one can think of. Like if you've got something that really is good, like some art that's really good, we shouldn't be surprised if it travels all over the world because it's just that good and that influential.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking about influences, like name a few artists that kind of inspired you in America and even back home.
Oh wow, there's so many. I'll start back home. Back home, obviously I have to start with my queen, Maria Makeba, the African superstar. Um, I can do Thandi Swamazwai. I love Thandi Swamazwai. You should check out her Tiny Disc. She did a Tiny Disc concert that was amazing.
That's dope.
Letambuli, Busim Shongo, Hugh Masekela, the late Hugh Masekela. There's so many here in South Africa. Tyler's really doing her thing as well. T is doing amazing things. And then, the list is endless. In
Hmm.
America, I love me some Brandy. I love me some Beyonce. Oh, guys, please, I could name all of them, but
Yeah.
the queen of my heart is Janet Jackson.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that. All right.
You know, like Janet Jackson.
Yeah. So so like big up Richard Dean from Crunch Cake. We've been rocking with her for a minute, and she kind of put me onto the whole African lane. What I mean, South Africa, Nigeria, and everything like that. And I got to interview artists like Jim Fossey and everything like that. And then like I guess the algorithm just like suggested Nanette, and I'm like, yo, we click on this joint, and I'm like, all right, this record's fine. Let me see what else you got. Another one, boom. Another one, you know what I mean? Like 4 or 5, I went down like the net rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, it's fire, not and it doesn't sound like it's like coming from a foreign place. You know what I mean? Me being from Africa or whatever. Like I mean, I said me being from Africa, me being from America, and you being from Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see a difference. You know what I'm saying? I hear that American influence and everything like that, and I
Yeah,
thought it was impressive. And
thank you.
and the records I kind of went down a rabbit hole with were from your project, the Painfully Happy project. Talk about that project. Oh, you got the shirt on and all that. I see you. All right.
This is business. This is business.
I hear that. Had that visual. Yeah, y'all gonna see the video on this on our social medias and YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right. Word.
Uh,
But talk about
yeah,
that project. Yeah.
Painfully Happy is really, really special to me. I thought of that project after I actually lost my aunt in 2024.
Mhm.
I, my aunt, who was my mother's sister, and she was like my entire world. She was the first person who even created a fan page for me. Like the first ever official Nanette fan page was created on Twitter by my aunt. And I remember I knew it was my aunt because I was like, girl, no one would put a fan page with a Bible verse that you like. Like that's your favorite Bible verse. It's you, isn't it? She's like, oh, you caught me. But that was one person who really supported me so much in my career and poured so much into me. And I remember like she was a radio presenter actually while I was growing up. Surprisingly, she was a radio presenter in a local station here in South Africa. And I just remember looking up to her and my sense of, music and even my taste in music, my favorite artist, it's all inspired by her. She's the first person who played me Janet Jackson, first person who played me Brandy, all of that stuff. So losing her like hit me very hard. And I think at that point in my life, I had reached a really great point in my career. It was a point in my career where, as much as I'd always believed in myself, there was never once a time where I was like, I'm not going to make it. But there were times where I'm like, a lot of times where I'm like, how am I going to do this? There's so much that's looking at me. There's so many people that are looking at me, relying on me to do this the right way. And I don't know how I'm going to do it right now. And at that point in my career, before I lost my aunt, it was starting to make sense. And then boom, this loss happened. And I was like, God, why? Why?
Mhm.
Please of this. Because a year before it happened, I had made a foolish prayer, praying and confessing essentially my biggest fear to the Lord. And my biggest fear to the Lord was losing this specific person who I would then go to lose. And that changed my entire perspective on life, like my entire perspective on life. And from that came painfully happy. It became like a statement, it became a mindset like, okay, cool. This person is the person I really looked up to because of who they were and what they believed in, which means despite losing them, they would want me to keep going. In fact, they would think I'm a huge loser for not going on. Like I have to keep going for them, for their children, and for what they've left in me, the hope that they've left in me. And so that's what painfully happy speaks to. It speaks to choosing life beyond death. It speaks to choosing joy beyond pain. And sometimes it speaks to choosing joy with the pain because we can't just say the pain is not there. We can't just brush it away and say, oh, it's not going to come. But if it's there, we choose to have a good time while it's there. And we say, you know what, we'll deal with you another time. For now, we have a good time.
Yeah,
That's pain happy. Yeah.
no, absolutely. We over here with Nanette. So going back to the Painfully Happy album, like sonically, explain it. You kind of explain like the inspiration behind the name and your mind frame going into it. But like sonically, what can people expect from that who haven't checked it out yet?
For those who haven't checked it out yet, I'd say it's really good R&B, firstly, like, but just different genres. You can expect different genres in there because it's not just R&B. But sonically, it's very polished, if I must say so myself. If you don't know what to expect from South African R&B,
Yeah.
it's good quality. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Very polished. I got the opportunity to work with the amazing Andre Harris on this. He is from the States, actually. He produced Folded by Kehlani. He did Butterflies by Michael Jackson, All That Matters by Justin Bieber. The list is endless. The OG has done it all.
Nice.
He did, a lot of confessions by Asha, Caught Up, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
So literally crafted the sound of R&B that I grew up listening to. And so to have the opportunity to work with him and polish my sound in accordance with his sound, that was really fire. So there's some really good records that he produced on there that people can expect that I think they will enjoy. Baggage is actually produced by him.
Mm.
Uh, so that is one of my favorite tracks, and that is forming part of my deluxe.
Yeah.
The Really Happy Deluxe that's coming soon. But yeah, sonically, it's just really good music. They can expect maybe like a little everything. I'm trying to put it into words sonically. That's a great question.
Cause
Now
I
I need
know where you're going with it. Cause I listen to it. I already know what it is. Like, and I'm from the era where no skips were normal, and like this project has no skips. I promise you that. I'm not gassing her up because she's here. Like, there's no skips on there, and that's rare now. I'm from the era, the '90s babies with all that, '80s babies, '90s, whatever. Yo, there was a time when no skips were normal, and I felt like you fit that mold for real. You know what I'm saying? I want to get that up to you. You feel me?
Thank you so much, Mike. That means a lot because
Yeah.
I was saying it in another interview. Like musically, I love to live in the past. I'm such an old soul. I
Mm-hmm.
love music, and even when I think about what I want to do and the type of artist that I want to be, I'm always studying the greats before me, and I'm
Yeah.
always looking at how they were doing, or look not necessarily how they were doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
looking at what mattered to them. And the one thing that mattered to all the greats was to never be too proud to learn.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just a student of my craft.
Yeah. How do you feel about the current game of R&B in general worldwide? Back home over here in the States,
Mhm.
worldwide. Again, I don't want to be the old man, like, you know what I mean, scream, get off my lawn. I just feel like R&B at a certain point where, like, you know what I'm saying, like, it kind of took a hit. I feel like it's, you know what I mean, actually getting back in the right place right now with artists such as yourself, you know. What's your thoughts on the current game of it?
I think it's so exciting. I think with
Mhm.
R&B worldwide is in such a great place right now. I see a lot of R&B artists touring, like doing worldwide tours right now, which a few years ago wasn't really the case for a lot of R&B acts, really good R&B acts. And that's the thing. It's not like R&B has ever lacked amazing acts. It's always had an abundance of amazing acts. But I think it's just always been a case of getting the right opportunities at the right time with the right crowds and stuff like that. And finally now, I do believe R&B is having that resurgence where it's going to take over the world again. And I love to see it. Honestly, worldwide, people are paying more attention to the R&B acts. And beyond even R&B acts, I see a lot of R&B influence in all the popular music. Like all the music we're consuming today, it's people are going back to the melodies, they're going back to the soul, they're going back to the crux of rhythm and blues
Yeah.
to find that magic.
But yo, I got one request, complaint, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
What?
feel like there's a lack of baby making music. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you got that in
What?
the bag too? I don't think there's too much baby making music no more. You know what I'm saying? Like something you throw on when you trying to make, you know what I mean, magic happen. I don't know. I'm not saying you. I'm just talking about in general. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
I mean, I don't have babies, so contextually, I couldn't even make it for you. I need to understand first.
nah, but I'm talking about like, you know what I'm saying, like this just the Jodeci's, the you know what I'm saying, the
Oh,
112, the I guess it ain't safe to say now, but I'm gonna say it, man. The R. Kelly before he started going crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like those times, like I feel like there's a lack in, you know what I mean, from my view, you know. What's
yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Let me get into the studio and try and make you a baby making song.
Please send that
I'll
word.
I'll do some thorough research and get into the studio ASAP.
Yeah, nah, please do. Like, nah, we welcome that over here 929. Like, we'll play baby music we'll play baby making music like midday, like you know what I mean, around like lunchtime, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It don't matter. We love that over here. I feel like it's lacking in the R&B game personally, you know what I'm
Yeah. I mean, everyone's breaking everyone's hearts. When are we gonna make babies, guys? When we crying,
saying?
crying all nonstop, nonstop. People are crying. The rappers are crying. Singers are crying.
Yeah.
Everybody's crying. We need to go back to just,
Well,
you know.
I had that. Yeah, we over here with Nanette. So like, yo, you got your own hive apparently. You know what I mean? Talk about the nesties. Let's talk about that. Are they crazy? Like, what's up? Yo, anybody say anything crazy about their net? Like, yo, it's off with their head. What the nesties like?
Oh, no, 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 no. It's a loving community. It's
Ah,
a also don't. I see what you're doing. You're putting me against the hive.
no, 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 no. I ain't trying to trip you up. I'm my bad.
I am of the hive. I would just like to pledge my allegiance. But mm, despite that, no, I believe in a loving community.
Mhm.
I hope it doesn't get to the point where, it gets like that. But I won't lie. Like one or two times when someone bullies me and then like one of my fans answers them, I'd be there like, yes, like
Unleash the hive. Unleash the nesties on them.
self, because I don't want to be mean and
Yeah.
like you out or something. Like, no, why did you say that to me? But somebody's gonna check you.
Yo, yeah, I mean, like, at least the hive, at least the, you know what I mean, the cracking on anybody who's talking ish, you know what I'm saying? Like, or you ain't gotta get your hands dirty. Your team will do it, you know what I'm saying? So, yo, what was that one record that gave you that boost to get, you know what I mean, the notoriety that you currently have?
Definitely fool me. This is not even a hard one to think about. Fool me with
Mm.
Calvin. I remember 2022 or 20 was that 2022 or 2023? I think
Mm-hmm.
2020. That came out December and that completely changed my life. And I was at home actually when someone sent me the OVO radio story and it was like the OVO radio playlist and Fool Me was there and I was like, and they were like, Chubby Drake knows your voice. Hi, boy, Drake knows your voice. I was like, yes,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
But international. Yeah, but that song has traveled like thousands of kilometers more than I have. It's taken me to places I can only dream of being at, the likes of Black Coffee. I can name like an endless list of people who've shown love to the music that I did with Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely the collabs that got me like the notoriety. And then yeah, the R&B that I've that I make is also, I'm really blessed to say that it's like also traveled more than I thought I would ever travel. Just the other day I was finding out that I was like part of the top 500 artists in Japan. I've never been to Japan. I cannot
Bye.
speak, but arigato to my Japanese folk out there who are listening to my music. It's really beautiful to see that there's like an audience out there who believes in a Xhosa girl like me from South Africa.
Yeah. No, I mean you already answered one of my questions because I'm like, what area like would surprise you that they rock with your music? Like for our radio station out here, we worldwide because we on the Audacy app, the TuneIn app, 929 WDUP.com. But for some
Yeah.
reason, like we popping in like Germany, I wouldn't expect that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like we all over, you feel me? So,
Yeah.
you answered my question with that. What's your favorite country to perform at, outside of your area?
Funny enough, I have not performed outside of South Africa, so we're gonna
Really?
manifest.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
It's coming, it's coming. And then next interview, I'll tell you.
I bet. Now, I was going to ask. One of my questions was going to be: have you made it to the states yet? And you did say you plan on coming over here to the states what I mean, at some point. But have you been here before already?
No, I haven't been yet.
Mhm.
Fingers crossed, I'm busy applying for my visa right now.
Let's go. Or man, we need that expedited. You know what I'm saying?
Fine.
So yeah, another thing that kind of like makes me a fan of your music is production. You got a good ear. You pick the right beats. That's huge. Like I feel like a lot of people kind of like lose sight of how important like having like the ability to pick the right tracks or beats, whatever. I feel
Yeah.
like that's just as important as like your natural ability to sing or rap or whatever. Talk about the production that you actually got on your projects, and do you have a team or do you just pluck random beats from everywhere? Like talk about that whole process.
I do have a team, yes. I have a really dedicated team who I'm very grateful for. I do love music in all its forms, and I think I also realized very early in the game that I do want to be a producer of my own in my own respect.
Mhm.
I'm learning to play piano right now as we speak. Like I'm in piano lessons to learn how to properly compose. But yeah, I have an executive producer who I work very closely with. I've been working with since my first project, Bad Weather. His name is Lee Global. And he has been very like important in my music journey because that's the person that I've like sort of crafted my sound with. We've developed my vocal chain, all of that stuff to my liking. I'm very, 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 very picky with my vocal chains. I know how I want to sound to the point where I just learned how to engineer myself. Like I literally learned how to mix myself so that I could go into studio and get what I want. That's how like
Yeah,
on I like to be with my stuff because I do believe I'm a perfectionist and I know how I want to sound. My team is also amazing. I have great A&Rs and a great label. I'm actually working with the Orchard in New York and Exodus. My label is Exodus. They're doing amazing. Kevin is my A&R, Kevin Boache.
hmm,
Always sending me notes. Literally today, I was like to him, bro. And Kevin is actually from New York, so he's very happy the next one. Congratulations to the next.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I was literally telling him today, like, bro, if you give me any more notes, my head is gonna pop. Like, I get it.
yep,
A&R, you're a great A&R. I hear you. We will make this project. We will make these bangers for the people.
hmm,
But team who are always like giving me little ideas and helping me just conceptualize this world that we live in as Team Nanette.
yeah. So you mentioned earlier the deluxe project. What can people expect from that?
Few more songs, just a few songs. Baggage is already out and Ask Fanan is already out. Ask Fanan is like for the fans here back home who've been following me since I started. It's like a fan favorite that I put out one take freestyle really that I put out years ago on SoundCloud only. At the time, I was like in between labels and I didn't really have a label who wanted to drop that song. And so I kept it in the vault and I just kept saying, but guys, please, we need to drop the song. They really like the song. But at the time, no one was trying to, no major label at least was trying to hear like hardcore R&B at that time. Everyone was trying to push me to do the dance thing. But now I was like in a space where I could finally drop it. So Asfanan is there, Baggage is there, that is with Andre Harris and Clyde Stroke. So that is really good to put out as well. Just like working with international producers and expanding my reach, like in music internationally, that's been great. They can expect a bit of a dance vibe. because yeah, that's like kind of the next era I'm trying to tap into. I'm trying to go back to my roots, essentially, go back to what people really fell in love with me for
Mhm.
across the world. So they can expect a bit of that in this project before we go to the next era. And just closing off the painfully happy story, I think even personally where I am in my life, I'm at a much better space I was in terms of understanding grief and moving on with it.
Mhm.
And I album will be something that grows with people and lives with them forever. At least I can hope it will do that, just like it's gonna live with me forever.
Yeah, and you speak about Janet Jackson being one of like your biggest inspirations, if not the biggest. And you mentioned bringing dancing back. I was thinking this just like randomly, of course, like I love R&B, and I feel like there's not too many like R&B artists that dance anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you might see a couple, but you know what I mean? Like you ain't dancing like Janet Jackson on Prime, Like I feel like R&B kind of got away from a lot of like, the core points where it actually made R&B great. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you kind of encapsulate a lot of that. You know what I mean? And
Thank
yeah, absolutely. And just going on back to you mentioning your label situation. Are you currently signed to a label? And would you rather go the indie route? Explain that whole dynamic.
you. Yes, I am currently signed to a label.
Hmm.
And I actually am signed to, okay, let me explain the whole
Hmm.
Shandy's situation.
Right.
So I'm signed called Exodus, Exodus Records. We are in a, I don't know what the terminology is, but yeah, I the Orchard, New York, child. It's
Hmm.
not the Orchard, New York. But I do also have my own label that I started about 2 years ago, 2023. I started my first label after I left my first major. I dropped my first album with a major, left the major, and I started my own label, MBJ Entertainment. And then when I came to drop my second project, I dropped my second project under my own label in a joint distribution with another label, another major label. I was with Sony at the time. Left that situation and I came to my current label where I'm in a very upfront partnership. I own half of my royalties.
Hmm.
I don't know if I should be saying that. I don't know if I said. I might have.
We can cut that off. You know what I'm saying? We can cut that off. We do on the playback. It's all right.
Yeah.
We talk about that
Just
off here. Yeah.
I'm
I
in
hear
a
that.
very upfront partnership. It's
Mhm.
very that I am currently enjoying, and we are very hands on with my career and my music, and just
Yeah.
like the yeah, that's my situation right now.
Mhm. So yeah, so like just recently you just opened up for Ella May. Talk about like the whole show experience and of course open up for Ella May and anything else, you know what I mean, that's grandiose that happened to you on the main stage. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Um, First arena show. I've obviously performed for like big crowds before, but like I hadn't done it in like an arena before. Like it feels very different in an arena.
Hmm.
1,500 people. It was sold out. Everybody was so engaged and like so excited to hear the music. It was really beautiful. I didn't cry because I don't like to ruin my makeup, but I was very emotional. I had
Yeah.
to do a little, a
Yeah.
little late. But yeah, it was so nice. I'm very grateful for that night because I think it validated something deep in me that I already known, but I was still like doubting just a little bit. Like, when you think of just how big the world is, and I'm not half as traveled as some people
Mhm.
um Korea are, with all the reach that I have and with all the countries that my music has been to. I haven't been to all those countries. So I haven't even left Africa. Like this, if I manage to get this visa, this will be my first time out of Africa. So the thought is like so exciting but scary to me because there's literally a big world out there for me that I don't know. And I'm so
Right.
excited, you know? And so that moment validated that I can take on the world. Like maybe the world was meant for me to see it, even if I'm just some random Xhosa girl from South Africa who's making her R&B. Like there's someone out there in the world who thinks that matters, and that to me is crazy.
Yeah. So, being from South Africa, like, yeah, Afro beats,
Hmm.
Afro trap, Afro R&B. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, are you just strictly R&B, or like, do you want to throw the Afro on it? You know what I mean? Being from where you from, like, what's your take on that? What
Yeah,
genre? Your music?
Yeah, of course. Like, there's always those few songs, or maybe like more than a few songs you want to
Mhm.
just throw Afro flair on it. Maybe some days you feel like making Afro beats, because obviously that rhythm, the drums, and
Mhm.
all it's from here. We all love that sound, it's part of who we are.
Mhm.
Uh, but I've got like a love-hate relationship with all genres. I won't lie. Just
Yeah.
the concept of genres and classifying music, especially now that I'm learning how to compose music and I'm going back to the basics and
Mhm.
I'm trying to like I was a music student. You just wanna break all the boxes. Like I just wanna make music. Like I just
Yeah.
wanna find
And
sounds and
flow.
together. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think genres can be so upsetting sometimes, but they also
Yeah.
are for let me say restrictions and their guidelines, they do work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with genres. I'm very much, let me just make what I want to make.
Right.
But that log drum or that boom drum or whatever, I'm gonna want to use it every now and then because yes, sometimes I want to remind people to take it back home. Like
Mhm.
we don't come from like you still want to have that sense of home in your music.
Yeah. So outside of music, you got any endeavors going on? Like, can you see yourself getting into acting, or you got anything else going on outside of the music realm?
Everything.
Okay, let's
Everything.
talk about it. Let's do it.
Yes, I definitely see myself going into acting, been auditioning for a lot of roles lately, hoping I get
Hmm.
crossed. We're putting it out in the air. Yeah. I love cooking as well, so I definitely do see myself in the future venturing into something cooking related. My mom is a chef. The love for food, I definitely think she passed it down to me. So one day I want to share that, you know, experience and my knowledge of food and cooking with other people, the people who listen to my music. I want to
Hmm.
create beautiful experiences around my cooking and my music together. That's definitely in the works, and I'm always every day I'm planning, plotting about when I can just launch it, just do it.
Yeah.
That's an experience that I really am so excited to share with everybody, into music and that food aspect of my life. Yeah, and more shows, always more shows. Hopefully I'm gonna be there in the US. I want to do the UK too. Just traveling the world, making more music with amazing people. Having fun while I do it. Yo, ngifuna ukuba nesikhathi esimnandi. I want to have a good time. That's
Well,
good time in Zulu.
yeah, yeah. We gotta get you out here in the States, you know what I'm saying? This gotta be one of your first stops too when you get out here. We right by New York, so it's not, what I mean, too far off the beaten trail, you feel me? You know what I mean? So yo, I mean, like just like what I mean, being at your status right now. So is it kind of hard to live a normal life? Like, can you date? I ain't trying to get in your business. You ain't got exposed nothing you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? But like, and then on top of that, like you being, the star that you are, like, yo, how can somebody approach you? Like, say some dude, whoever, you know what I mean, want to take their shot in the net. How should they approach you? How should they come at
They be coming at me crazy. I won't lie.
you? Mhm.
I won't lie. They be coming at me crazy. Dating has become harder.
Yeah.
It is not as easy as it used to be. But how should they come to me? Come correct, come polite, and like in my language, you say ungaphaphi. Like don't be like full of yourself. Like
Mhm.
don't be here.
Right.
Because me, um, I'm a pretty chill girl. So
Yeah.
be respectful, be polite. Don't do too much. But also just maybe don't come to me at all. I'm focused, like I'm focused. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm so focused on my career that it actually ends up getting in the way of my relationships anyway. Like,
See, that was a multi-layered question I threw at you. I'm trying to get on my 2020, Pulitzer Prize questions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's multi-layered right there. Can you handle that? And then, do you try to actually try to balance it a little bit? But clearly you're like, yo, I'm laser focused on my business and my career, and I respect that. So
yeah,
yeah, for sure. So anything else you want to say to people? Like we gonna play like I don't know a handful of songs. We got like a laundry list of Nanette records. Like all the joints is fire, no skips. Y'all will enjoy it because we do interviews with people and like all right, they might have a hot song or two, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like you try to go through their whole discography, it ain't like that. Nanette like that. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta play some joints. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? So this is your time to kind of like let everybody know like your socials, how they stay in tune and
yeah.
talk your ish a little bit, pound your chest, It's your moment right here.
I will. hate to be the person you're shading like that. I'm very glad I'm not the artist with the mid tracks, and I know it will never be me.
Yeah.
Uh, but on my social media, you guys can find me at officially Nanette. My name is spelled Nanette. What would I like to say? For those who do decide that they want to join this crazy journey with me, prepare to join this crazy journey with me. It's going to be a good one. One thing I'm always gonna do is give you good music, honey, and I won't tell you a lie. I might tell you a joke. Some say I'm funny. In fact, many say I'm funny. Um, but I won't tell you a lie. I shall not lie, and I shall not give you bad music. That is my oath.